Hi besties, welcome back to my channel. This is the White Feather Tarot, and in today's reading we're doing what are your triggers and what could you do to heal them. Now of course I'm going to put a disclaimer. This is not professional guidance. This is for entertainment purposes. We're taking a look at what your spirit guides have to say. Always seek the guidance of doctors and experts to heal. All right, now that we got this out of the way, let's pick out 3 piles together, and we want to find out what are your triggers and what you could do to work on them. All right, I see this one popping up. And okay, so for pile number 1, this is how it looks like. For pile number 2, this is how it looks like. And finally for pile number 3, this is how it looks like. So take a look at which one of these 3 piles you're the most drawn to, and that's probably the pile for you here today. If you feel drawn to more than one pile, trust your intuition. It will always guide you to the right readings. As usual, you'll find the timestamps down in the description box. Click on your times and I'll see you in your readings. Hi, pile number 1. So you've chosen this beautiful picture here, and it says take your life and enjoy it. On the other side, I see what this is about. You are alive, so take your life and enjoy it. You were born with the right to be happy, to love and to share your love. Just to be, to take a risk and enjoy your life is all that matters. And straight away, pile number 1, what I'm seeing here is a heart that is full of joy towards life and towards connecting with other people, sharing love. But perhaps there are triggers in that area. Social triggers of getting to know people, triggers of connecting with people. And while you know that you have a very fun side that a lot of the people who are close to you get to experience, that fun side is not really shown to people. Again, as you can see here, there's a cat that wants to play but is not playing. You can see that she's a lot of fun but is perhaps a little bit afraid to take it out. So I think your triggers, pile number 1, have to do with social triggers. Triggers of not knowing the reactions of people, being afraid of other people's reactions, perhaps being afraid of others putting you down, or bullying, or ignoring you, or one thing of the sort. A lot of fears, not that it would actually happen to you. In fact, you are represented as a cat here, and the cat is a really mystical creature that's been revered in many ancient civilizations, including the ancient Egyptians. So you do seem like a very special person, a very mystical person, but perhaps due to some childhood trauma in one area or the other, you've developed fears. And now this beautiful mystical person that you are is not out into the light, into the world. I want you to remember something, pile number 1, that you are not your triggers, pile number 1. Triggers are a result of a brain program where we've experienced something and it's reliving the trauma. It's like a program gone wrong, replaying itself because it's trying to protect us, but sometimes it protects us in a harmful way. And it's all about rewiring the way you think again, creating a new habit of thinking. And we're going to talk about that, but I first have to see your tarot cards and get more information and get what your spirit guides have to say. And I will jump in as well and tell you what I've read about that for guidance. But what I can tell you, pile number 1, is that your triggers are not you. They are things that happen to you. But you are you, and you can always relearn to go back to who you are and rewire and create different neurological pathways with different habits. Pile number 1. So let's see what your tarot cards have to say. You have 3 of Swords. You have the Emperor. Told you, pile number 1, you're very, and I really mean it. You're very special. I'm feeling your energy. I do not like lying to anyone about them. I'm here to help tell you the truth so that you can heal. You have the King of Pentacles. Okay. You have the 2 of Cups, of course. All right. Yeah. You have the Page of Wands. And you have the Devil, of course. Yeah. And you have Judgment. Yeah. So listen, pile number 1. Exactly what we said here. There has been traumas in the past that really hurt you. And now, see, you have a lot of threads here in your reading that relate to your heart. And it looks like what should have been a journey of being playful and connecting with others because of your personality turned out to be a journey that has the same thing caused you a lot of pain. So by nature, pile number 1, you are a fun, playful person, as you can see here. It says, take your life and enjoy it. You see a cat who wants to play. And due to past fears and traumas, you're now not able to let this part out. And what I see as advice here from your spirit guides clearly is that there is a need to learn to start getting reciprocation with you and other people, and that is done by fearing the fear and doing it anyway. Pile number 1. Get used to things sometimes going wrong. Do they go wrong all the time? That is what our brain tells us. It does not go wrong all the time, but it's that few little times when things go wrong is what hinders the whole process. That fear of that 1 or 2 or 3 times. Fine. Let it happen and free yourself. Pile number 1. Along the way, you'll learn to bring out your personality. You'll learn to have answers. You will develop ways of responding to things that you don't like. You'll do it one way, it will turn out bad. Fine, forget about it and move on. Try it again. You'll probably find someone else that does something that works well. You'll take it in and you do it your own way. And believe me, it's just a matter of practice. This idea that you can't do it is what the Devil card, what the Devil card's message is. Always thinking that we are stuck, when in fact we are the ones keeping ourselves stuck. Do you remember how the Devil card initially looks like in the Rider-Waite-Smith? Let me show you pile number 1. It's the idea of thinking that you're stuck, but you're not. You'll realize that the chains are quite loose and people can actually take it off quickly. They're the ones keeping themselves stuck here. And that's one of the concepts of the Devil card, thinking that you're stuck and that you can't get out of it, when in fact that's just an idea solely in your head. It's not true. So your advice here is to rise above this current situation, because you will rock pile number 1. You really will. You realize that you went from being hurt to being embodying the the energy of the Emperor here, the King of Pentacles, which is all about stable people in their power, being in control of their lives, being able to talk to other people easily, having social power. So it's like you are preventing yourself from experiencing what you actually could be. What hindered it is some misfortunes that happened in the past, and now it's time for you to heal it by facing your fears, feeling it, and doing it anyway, being comfortable with discomfort until you learn the process. It's like riding a bike. If you keep fearing that you're gonna fall off this bike, you will never see your potential in riding a bike. And when you learn to drive, the first time you sit on the wheels and you're like, oh my God, I don't think I'm gonna do that. And I think that's everybody's thoughts, nearly everybody's thoughts when they first learn to drive, is like, oh my God, no, I'm gonna be the one that won't do that. And what happens? You learn how to drive. In fact, at some point, very soon, you learn how to drive and you're so out of it that you're thinking about other things and planning for other things in life. And if you're not a careful driver, you're probably eating and chatting and thinking about what your crush told you, and before you know it, you've landed somewhere where you weren't even planning to go. That's how much you've learned to do it unconsciously, even though in the beginning you believed 100% that it didn't look like you were going to learn how to do that because it was too risky. I mean, your life was involved with this, wasn't it? So pile number one, it's the same concept here. It's about changing this limiting belief, going out there, accepting discomfort, accepting the fact that you accept that sometimes people aren't going to be nice. Sometimes there is going to be nasty things that happen. Hey, it happens to everyone. What, are you going to get embarrassed during that time? Fine, let it go. I would invite you to practice within communities that are far away from your current communities, making it a bit easier for yourself. So perhaps join different classes and try to communicate with different people. If things go south, better you leave the class and you do something else. Join online communities and that use Zoom, perhaps, if it's not safe for you to go outside. But it's time for you to start connecting with people, because you have a beautiful personality that needs to go out into the world. And you, pile number one, need to experience what an amazing, stable, impressive social person you can be, how you can play and speak with people and let out your fun personality. You will learn how to reciprocate energy between people, not always being on the giving side because of the triggers and the past pains and the fears, but learning to be confident and either say, I don't like that this happened, calling it out gracefully and saying, well, I'm sure you perhaps didn't mean it, but this and this happened, and I feel I don't like it when this happens, or it's uncomfortable, or whatever the situation is, saying it clearly, because you stand up for yourself, pile number one. Just make sure you say it gracefully. You'll find that most people will respect you for speaking out your truth. If they don't respect you for speaking out your truth for something that wasn't nice, then they're not your people, pile number one. They're not the people you should be hanging around with anyway. So pile number one, this is the reciprocation that we're talking about here, the boundaries that you need to learn to put so that you can put yourself out there. And believe me, it's all about changing your mental habits. If you stay isolated for a long time, you're creating a new habit that you're building every day of being isolated, of not going out there. You're increasing it. But the beautiful thing about habits is that you can change it anytime. And that's the beauty of it. And now you can change your habit into building muscle, which everybody can do, by pushing yourself out there and letting yourself do it anyways, even if you're afraid in the beginning, starting to feel comfortable with discomfort. And this is what everyone learns to do, to be comfortable with discomfort. It happens, it doesn't trigger you as hard anymore. And this way you start healing, you start seeing yourself in many ways that would surprise you. You'll gain confidence, I promise you, and you will heal this trauma that's cycling and reliving itself. Take yourself out of it and you will see your true you, not the you that you've falsely labeled yourself with over the years perhaps. Now it's time for you to see who you really are. Pile number 1. So pile number 1, that was your reading. All the best of luck, my lovelies. I'm rooting for you. And if you've enjoyed this reading, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel so that you never miss a reading that I upload. Don't forget to click on your notification bell, and I'll catch you in the next reading. Bye. Hi, pile number 2. So you've chosen this beautiful picture here. Isn't it? I love the colors, the orange and the blue. So it says, ignore the opinions of others. On the other side, it says, whatever people do, feel, think, or say, don't take it personally. Others are going to have their own opinion according to their belief system. So whatever they think about you is not about you, but it is about them. And it's so true, this quote, pile number 2. All right, so I'm getting here the intuitive feeling that this is about criticism, being triggered by criticism. Although you know cerebrally that it doesn't make sense to be triggered by other people's criticism, it still happens anyways. I mean, when you take the time, when the triggers go and you think about it quietly, you wonder why you felt so deeply towards it. But at the time that the criticism happens, it does trigger you a little bit, pile number 2. So let's take a look at your tarot cards, see what your spirit guides have to say, what they can guide you with in terms of these triggers. So, thank you very much. Oh, I see this one wanting to come out as well. So, what are pile number 2's triggers, and what can pile number 2 do to work and heal, to work on them and heal them? Great. So, pile number 2, you have the Hanged Man, changing perspectives. We'll see. You have the 3 of Cups. You have the Tower. Okay. Right. You have the 6 of Wands. The Moon. The Hermit. There's a lot of introspection here. A lot of introspection. And Ace of Pentacles. Look, pile number 2. It is always lovely to get recognition from other people. There is no doubt about it. But, oh, my mic was muffled, so I'm going to say that again. There is no doubt that gaining recognition from people is a wonderful thing. But when we make what other people tell us our identity, we will always go up and down, not being in control of our own identity ever, and letting people take us up and down, never feeling stable. And that's the danger of unconsciously attaching our self-worth and our self-importance to what other people think about us. And the healthy way to do it is to, of course, enjoy what other people tell us when it's a nice compliment, but not to overly take it in and living it and fantasize about it and deciding that it's our tag and living with it. And once they change their mind, we're threatened and we go down with it. And this way we give our own self-control to other people. We hand it to them, and they, with remote controls over and over our lives, control us just like a yo-yo or a computer game, video game handle. Pile number 2. And that's the danger that happens when we give our personal power to other people without realizing it. And this is why you have so many introspection in your reading. Your spirit guides, pile number 2, are advising you to give that power back to yourself. Decide for yourself what you have that you're proud of, and be honest with yourself. Tell yourself where you fall short. Write it down. Write down all the wonderful things that you have about yourself that you're very proud of. Whether some people like it or not, you know you have them. And write down the things that you wish you could improve or wish could have been better. So write down all the blessings and write down all the things that you need to change. And you be honest with yourself about this list. The minute you know exactly what your advantages are and what are the things that you need to work on, you're no longer gonna let people put you up and down, because you already know that these things are great. You're happy when other people notice it and compliment you with it. Thank you very much. Truly appreciate it. When other people don't like it, it doesn't matter. This is life. It really, they're putting a lot of people can be putting their own projections onto you. You'll notice even on YouTube, people leaving nasty comments, and you can see it doesn't make any sense. And you can see that these poor people, you don't know what they're trying to do. Some people need to heal, and you don't need to figure everyone out. Pile number 2. You'll find these people in real life where you find someone giving other people nasty, unnecessary comments that are not helping anyone out. And it's just life. Pile number 2. You will never have it the perfect way. In fact, pile number 2, take a look at which one of the people that lived throughout history or is living today, and you find as your idol this amazing person that couldn't be touched. And you realize that you have other people shaming, making fun of them, leaving nasty comments. No one is immune ever to other people saying bad things about them. It's just not going to happen, because some people are actually not convinced, and that's okay. That's not going to change your blessings. And some people are projecting their own issues that they need to deal with. It's just life. Pile number 2. You'll find the most amazing people, the prettiest actors being shamed and made fun of. Oh, well, I don't think she's that pretty anyway. You'll find the most successful people being made fun of one way or the other. So to have an idea of never being criticized is an unrealistic ideal that is going to cause triggers all the time. Triggers from people. You're giving them an open space to hit at you, pile number 2, without you or them meaning to. And so you need to take back this control over your life and know exactly what the things that you love about yourself are. Hold them dear, be grateful about them, write them every day, and genuinely, because morning routines, believe me, they change habits in an unbelievable way. Wake up, either write them or say them to yourself. I'm so grateful, for example, that I have a comfortable bed to sleep on. No, we were talking about your adventures. Sorry about that. I'm so blessed and happy that I find myself to be a smart person. Thank you, universe. I'm so blessed that I have nice hair. Thank you, universe. I'm so blessed that I get to have this and this and that, and be this and this and that. And these are just examples. You can use your own blessings, and that's the point. Don't think of what you don't have, because that's not the exercise. Think of what you have and start understanding, learning more about yourself, appreciating the amazing things about you, because if you don't appreciate them, who's going to? It's only when you do that other people will. It will show in you. Pile number 2. And now do another exercise. It doesn't have to be every morning. You just have to do it. Check in with yourself every once in a while and think honestly. Tell yourself honestly where you fall short. Write it down. And now, take a look at the things that you can improve. Have an open mind. How can I make it the best I can? And when you know what your disadvantages are and you're working on them, or I don't want to say disadvantages, I'm so sorry about that. I mean where you need to improve, where your challenges are. Because hey, we all have them. Nobody's perfect. So write them down and find how you can improve it. This way, when people criticize you over them, you already know it. You've already talked to yourself about it. You're not surprised here. And you're not only that, you're already working on it. So they can think whatever they want to think. It's up to them. You're on your own journey to be happy and not to give control to others, but to give control back to yourself. Pile number 2. This way you start a new realistic beginning with yourself of being a hero and a person that you admire, and not waiting for other people to do it for you. Pile number 2. Remember, pile number 2, shift your perspective and rise above criticism. Remember that nobody will be 100% immune to criticism. It's just not going to happen. And take a look at criticism either as a blessing or as a projection. Because when it's genuine, real feedback, be thankful that you actually got to see a side that perhaps you weren't seeing, and now you get to improve it. Isn't that amazing? And when you get triggered because you just got the criticism, being triggered is absolutely in your hand. Pile number 1. When you get hit by triggers, allow it to come in and then say to yourself, no, that's it. I'm not going to experience triggers anymore. That's it. Push it away. It hits you, you got the message, thank you very much, and say, no. I'm not going to relive this. And say, now I'm in control. I'm pushing this trigger out. I'm going to be fine. And relax. And if you want to learn more about how you can genuinely take command over your mind, because it's absolutely doable 100%, I'll leave a link down below to Dr. Caroline Leaf's book. She's a neuroscientist who's done lab research over more than 20 years with other neuroscientists. I always mention her book. I get nothing out of it. I genuinely believe in her book. She's changed people's lives, and she's selling this book, trying to help others do it in the comfort of their own home, by reading the ideas that she found in the research. Pile number 2. So going back here, you see that you need to rise above being triggered and change your perspectives about triggers. The more you're comfortable with criticism, the more nobody ever has control of you. You become comfortable. It's like butter slides over a soft pan. Nothing sticks. And that happens by accepting that nobody is immune to triggers. It happens to everybody, not just you. By taking the feedback and go, okay, well, that's good feedback, and inside yourself saying, okay, that's good feedback, I'll just change it, shrug it off, and take off the trigger and move on. And if it's nasty type of trigger, that a comment that shouldn't have unnecessarily be said, again, I will give you Dr. Caroline's advice by pushing away these triggers, being in command of your own mind, because you're in control, pile number 2, and thinking, they're nasty, they're projecting, do they have a bad day, do they have issues to deal with, whatever, it's none of our business. What is your business is to not relive this trigger. It's not a cycle that you can't stop. You decide, no, I'm not taking this trigger, I'm not going to worry about what they think, what other people thought, and this nasty trigger that we get in. Push all of these away and move on with your day and your time with other people. Pile number 2. So pile number 2, that was your reading. I wish you all the best of luck. And if you've enjoyed this reading, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel so that you never miss a reading that I upload. Don't forget to click on your notification bell, and I'll catch you in the next reading. Bye! Hi, pile number 3. So you've chosen create a beautiful dream. Such a beautiful picture. Showing someone comfortable where other birds are enjoying their music. Someone doing their own thing. Now on the back it says, your word can create the most beautiful dream, or your word can destroy everything around you. Impeccability of the word only creates beauty, love, and heaven on earth. Alright, so I'm already getting ideas here, but I want to make sure. Let's pick out your tarot cards first and find out what are pile number 3's triggers and what could they do to work on it and heal it, please. So what are pile number 3's triggers and what could they do to work on it and heal it? Thank you. So pile number 3, you have 4 of Cups. Okay. You have, okay, now this is making sense. 7 of Cups, thank you very, very much. Okay. It's exactly what I thought here. The Knight of Cups. Nice, sweet, sweet pile number 3s. You have the Queen of Swords. You have the Chariot. The High Priestess. And Judgment. So pile number 3, what I see here for you is triggers of self-doubt. There are a lot of times in life where you wanted to do really big dreams. It's like inside you there lives 1,000 beautiful dreams that you wanted to achieve in life, but there's a lot of doubting yourself, a lot of triggers of things like, who are you to do these things, or what do you have to achieve these dreams? Do you have what it takes to do the things that you want? Be realistic and think about it as a dream. Don't take any hasty decisions. Perhaps you've avoided applying for so many things that you could have succeeded greatly at, but you haven't, and it stopped you from doing so much of what you wanted to do in life, to connect with different people, to be who you are, your authentic self. Pile number 3, because of a lot of self-doubt. And listen, with the High Priestess here, I do see that part of you feels like you could have done it, and another part of you, and that's the trigger here, doubts that you can live this dream that you want, or the dreams that you envision. Pile number 3. So pile number 3, don't blame yourself for that, because triggers are not our identity. Triggers are a result of past mishaps, past traumas, past things that caused fears, voices inside our heads of a certain parent that had issues themselves that needed to heal, or past, voices of teachers, or voices of a nasty friend, whoever it is. And it's grown with you. It's not you, pile number 2. And it's like these voices are stuck in your head, preventing you from doing anything, nearly anything that you want, because of these self-doubting beliefs. So pile number 3, you're here being invited by your spirit guides to really move away from this phase of your life, to rise above these ideas, to realize that this is a trigger. You can sometimes deal with the triggers unknowingly because you don't know their triggers, and say, I'm being realistic, or come on, I've seen myself do this and that. And believe me, pile number 3, if we look at things from the outside, most of the time, especially with big dreams, being outside and looking in, it looks scary for all of us. And sometimes we keep fearing it and letting it grow into something where we're absolutely sure we can't do it. But once we're forced to step in, and we step into it, we realize, as we work through it and gain more knowledge about it and hear what other people are doing and what's the right steps needed to go through it, we realize it wasn't that bad after all, and that it's a process, and that you don't have to be perfect now in order to achieve your dreams, because dreams are a journey, and a journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. And when you have dreams, now you need to change your perspective from ideas, limiting beliefs, and old voices of, who am I to do this? I don't think I can do that. Oh no, this is beyond me. Of ideas like that. When you catch yourself doing that, especially on a dream, pile number 3, you need to realize that this is a trigger, and you have full control over stopping your triggers and saying, no, I'm not going to think like that anymore. That's it. Thank you very much. Thank you for giving me your message. Now I'm not going to feel like that anymore, and push these triggers away. And I always say this is not my book. I'm not endorsed. There's nothing that I get out of it by recommending Dr. Caroline Leaf. It's just a great book that I love to help people with. It's, I think, called Cleaning Up Your Mental Mess. I'll leave her book down in the description if you want to get it. She's a neuroscientist who talks about gaining control over your mind, because you're absolutely capable of doing that, whether it has to do with anxiety and depression. That's what she says. She's done labs with other neuroscientists for over 20 years, and she's had successful cases, and now she's teaching all of us to do it at home. So if you're interested, you can find her book down below. Now, getting back to your point, it's all about pushing these ideas anymore. They haven't been serving you, and now it's time for you to move on and create these beautiful dreams, because you, my dear pile number threes, are fully capable of doing it. Why don't you step in and start enjoying what your heart desires, and learn that it's a step-by-step process? Don't crucify yourself for every little failure that happens, because challenges happen to everyone, and especially in the beginning, with this inertia and momentum that we need to create. More often than not, there are more challenges in the beginning when starting something. And so you need to nurture yourself, pile number 4, and start speaking to yourself like a kind person to yourself, and say, it's okay, it's okay. We had a challenge today. We're not giving up on our dream. We're going to calm down and think of a solution. We'll never tell ourselves again we can't do something when it's our dream. And start working towards it. And do not let go of something unless it's really out of your hand at the moment. Like things like, I want to become the president next month. You know, everything is in your hand. Nearly everything is in your hand. Granted, you start taking steps towards it and putting your full force and seeing what needs to be, what's needed to happen, and working slowly but surely on it every day, and not allowing yourself to doubt yourself anymore, because you are fully capable of doing this. Pile number 3. With the Queen of Swords here, you just need to prevent emotional thoughts like that from your life, with the Cups being imprisoned here, and start taking command of your life and moving forward with force towards what your heart desires, and rising above these limiting beliefs that have kept you hindered for a very long time in your life. And it's time to experience what you want to do in life, and start living it, because you will be absolutely because you'll be absolutely surprised how much you get recognition from it. Pile number 3, how much people will love you for it, the work that you present. You'll be surprised and say, oh, did I do that? And laugh at yourself for doubting yourself all these years and not taking any actions towards it. You'll realize that you've wasted so much time, and that the best is yet to come. Catch yourself, pile number 3. Whenever you start telling yourself, see, I knew it. Catch yourself right there. That's the trigger right there. And say, no, I'm reversing the way I think now. Maybe I need a break now. Maybe I need to move away from it and think, and come back to your beautiful dream, pile number 3, and make it happen. See what you need to improve. Roadblocks are not meant to make us stop and not go back home, or go towards our work, or go towards the things that we want. What do we do with roadblocks? We think about whether to take a different direction, or whether perhaps we can just remove them out of the way, so that we move safely and other people move safely and go towards it. They're not meant for you to stop like a video game and say, oh, well, there's a roadblock. It means I can't do it. Because this is absolutely not the truth. This is a roadblock in thinking, not a roadblock in real life. And you need to train your brain to think, to cross over these roadblocks and think differently, because the way we think determines the way we live our lives. And now you're being invited to think of roadblocks, see a lot of roadblocks in different, oh my God, we were talking about that, weren't we? Think of roadblocks in different ways. Roadblocks do never mean that there's something wrong with you. Ever. Don't even talk to yourself like that, pal. My dear pal number 3s. You can do whatever you want in your life. Granted, you take the steps that other people have taken. And these steps and change from one person to the other, because people face different challenges at different times. Some of them are common and some of them are unique to each one. And our job is to not go back and reverse our way towards our dream and recluse and start limiting ourselves with limiting beliefs. Our job is to persevere and to stand there and think, I'm going to achieve my dream. So what do I need to do about this roadblock? What can I learn in the future so that I don't get these roadblocks anymore? Think of solutions. Always be solution oriented, my dear pile number threes. This way you don't give up. It allows you to take a break and think of solutions rather than failures. Consider them feedback. Never failure. Whenever mishaps happen, whenever things don't go your way, they are not failures. They are feedback. And this reminds me of this false narrative that we've been hearing for years about Thomas Edison trying 1,000 times to create the light bulb, and then when he finally created it, he said, oh, well, I found 1,000 ways not to do the light bulb. I always told myself, well, I found another way not to do how not to create the light bulb or invent the light bulb, until I finally invented it. And while this story turned out to be untrue, that's not the point here. The analogy behind it is brilliant, because that's the point. And I'm sure the person who lied about this or invented this story probably had some nice intentions behind it, but it's not nice to change history to do that. That's not our point here at all. My point is, the analogy is absolutely true for everything. Whenever you fail at something, it's feedback. Now you have more experience and you know how not to do things. Imagine, for example, you try to create let me give you a good example. Let's say you were trying to bake a cake and you put in too much milk and it got all mushy, and your cake turned out to be really bad. That's not you not being able to bake a cake. That's you learning that putting in too much liquids is just gonna make it turn out to be mushy and weird. Now, let's say you failed 5 times to bake. 10 times. You failed 10 times to bake your cake. And at this point, you're like, well, this is not for me. And then you meet another friend who's baking a cake and they go, dook, dook. And you're like, wait, you're putting in too much milk. That's going to ruin your cake. And look at you now, learning how to not do things the wrong way and moving a day closer to baking a nice cake. And she tells you, always cover your pan with nice olive oil or nice butter so that your cake doesn't stick. And you're like, that's why it gets burned out and sticks. And now you have it all together, pile number 2. So it didn't look like you're a person who's just not meant to bake cakes. It's just a process that all of us go through. We have different challenges. We go through it in different ways. We don't want to compare, because that's not the point. We all have our journey. Let's all focus on our journey to reach our dreams. How other people had it, perhaps they had it easier one way, and perhaps they'll have it harder in another way, or perhaps they'll have it great. It's none of our business. Our business is to reach our dream and live our authentic, true lives and achieve what we want. And always remember, pile number 1, that challenges and failures and things not working out in your way are feedback. They're taking you day by day with every challenge a step closer to what you want to achieve and not pushing you back. And with that, pile number 3, you'll achieve what you want. Take out these negative voices that happened to you in the past. It's time to rise above this now and start taking command of your mind and achieving your dream, pile number 3. And I am rooting for you. All the best of luck. And if you've enjoyed this reading, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel so that you never miss a reading that I upload. Don't forget to click on your notification bell, and I'll catch you in the next reading. Bye.